we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, this is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
Let's get it. Let's go.
Right.
Is that fan good on the white noise? You hear that?
I mean, it's on the lowest setting, and we're gonna want that for sure.
Keep the air moving.
It gets hot. It
gets a little roasty.
I have a sweater.
Are you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I wore a black shirt. I was like, if it's a little warm, I'm gonna be sweating. So no gray, no white.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, then you get some hot weather on top of it, and you get extra sweaty.
I've been sweating all day.
It's been a hot summer, dude.
Oh,
we're getting that heat.
well, it's also because we've been getting little spikes of humidity.
Yep.
Because of the rain that we get. That's just that little spark of rain, and you're just like, fuck, it's so hot.
Yeah.
And sticky.
Yeah, you get like that rain cooled air in the afternoon, but then once the sun comes back out, it's full on fucking Swamp Nut City,
rough.
bro.
It's rough.
Swamp Nut City. I don't like it, but hey, it's part of the summertime. I'll take that over the winter anytime.
I live in Swamp Nut City. Literally,
Swamp Nut City.
Summer, winter,
So
anytime.
you're basically a like bayou boy then.
I mean, my
live in
pants
there.
are. That's for sure. They're all Bayou boys. I mean, my boys down there are Bayou boys. I'm born and raised in Colorado.
So, yeah, I was about to ask, where are you from? So, what part of Colorado?
I actually grew up right down the street. I went to Cherry Creek High School.
Nice.
Greenwood Village boy. I didn't live your typical Greenwood Village life.
Okay.
Most of the people that I went to school with, their dads were highly educated. You know, they've got law degrees, medical degrees, everything like that. My dad was fresh off the boat from Greece. He came here when he was 14.
Okay.
And my mom grew up in a trailer park in Texas. And my dad started working for Red Lobster and a few other restaurant chains, and ended up in Colorado working for Federal Junction. And my mom was a server there. And one thing led to another. She was 18, he was 34.
Oh, wow.
So, significant difference in age.
Okay.
But apparently they hit it off because they had a kid out of wedlock. That would be my sister. She was 4 years older than me. And then came I, and then my brother. So, it's been an interesting grow up for me because I've seen a lot of people in privilege, and I've had privilege in my life, but I worked a lot harder than most of the kids that I knew. I grew up in a restaurant, so it was like 24 hours, I mean, not 24 hours a day, but a significant amount of my time was spent in that restaurant and learning things that, like, you know, I didn't know were going to benefit me in the future. And so it was a pretty cool experience growing up and, like, realizing the value of hard work and seeing how many people lacked it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I talk to a lot of successful people, entrepreneurs, people that have come up through the world, and they're like, man, where did I start in the restaurant business? You know, I talk to a lot of these guys. You hear a lot of success stories. It starts there. You really learn work ethic. You learn that hustle. You learn that customer service. You learn, you know, a lot of us learn there. I've never worked in the restaurant business. I did the grocery business for a bit, but I have a lot of respect for the service industry. You know, it teaches you a lot of skills early, I feel like.
You got to have respect for that.
A lot of people that are in that industry get shit on a daily basis. And, you know, the next day they come in with a completely different attitude than the attitude where they got shit on because, you know, every day's a new day in that industry. You deal with new people every day. Excuse me. You deal with new people every day. You have new interactions, new situations that you have to adapt to. It's a very adverse, I guess, situation that you put yourself in when you go into the restaurant industry. You never know if somebody's going to have a good day or a bad day. They could be the nicest person in the world. And, hey, they're being a fucking cocksucker today. Like, you know, you could have the sweetest old lady, and guess what? Like, she just got some horrible news. She's going to be a dick to you. And you don't know that, so you don't know what's going on in anyone's life, really, unless you're vested in it. So they have to go with a clean slate to every table, and it's one of the hardest things to do in my field. When I have to deal with a customer complaint, I'm like, I don't know what they're dealing with today. I don't know their preference in, like, oh, do they have like a texture issue with food or something like that. And so that's why I am really drawn to the restaurant industry, is because nothing is monotonous unless you're in the back of the house. So when you're in the front of the house, nothing is the same. Mm-hmm. Any day could throw you just a complete curveball, and I love that. It keeps me on my toes. And
It does.
Yeah, it's like something new every day, right?
Oh, yeah.
New challenge, new people, new opportunities come in. You never know how many fists are going to get thrown. Right? It can get kind of wild. And, you know, to give our listeners and viewers some backstory here, we met Konstantine at one of our favorite places to have a beer when we're done, you know, recording and doing some uploads down at the View House here in Centennial. We have a lot of fun down there. And Konstantine got to know us pretty well, being in and out of there, you know, week after week. And so we decided to have him on the show, man. I'm glad you're here.
There was something about your hunky nature that brought me in. I was like, I got to talk to this
some
guy.
magnetic attraction of the muscles.
Well, you know, we had a little conversation before hitting this record button, and, you know, I think we probably align with some of our foundation thoughts and how we perceive things. But to go back what you were saying as far as the industry of service industry and working in restaurants, it is a challenge. And I like how you started with, you don't know how someone's day's going. So a lesson that I was taught when I was young, I'm going to break it down a little bit, was to not take things personally. And because generally when someone is upset, they're just projecting their negativity outwards. So they're not necessarily upset at you. They're just upset at the world, right?
Yeah,
so,
you're just in the way.
It's like having a thorn in your toe, and you're the shoe. You're just facilitating that little push that's causing that irritation. And that's how I see it. Is like, you know, once you get that thorn out of your fucking ass, you're okay. But the thorn is the facilitation of, you know, we push on it a little bit because we did one tiny little thing wrong. You know, your table might have been a little bit crooked when you came in.
Gosh.
Something set you off. But it really is. Once you pull that thorn out, you're okay. And I get it. I've been that person where I've been upset at the fucking world, wanted to burn it down. And, you know, somebody set me off, and, like, I get grumpy about it, and I look back at it, and I'm like, God, I'm a fucking idiot, because I'm the same person that I hate that comes into my restaurant. And it doesn't happen frequently, but every once in a while, you know, you're really hungry, you get hangry, you're just like, shit, this person sucks. Why are they making me wait when there's open tables? And I know as a manager, it's like, they don't have the servers for it. And so it's like, well, I should know better, but I'm still going to criticize.
Oh, I think we've all been there. I mean,
of course.
Many times over. I've never worked in the service industry, but I've certainly felt that way. I always try to, you know, tip the servers, tip the bartenders, because I know how hard these guys are working, you know, especially coming out of the pandemic and getting back out and about again and getting folks paid again. I mean, a lot of these guys were sitting indoors for 2 years. You know, I mean, the on-premise division was completely destroyed. So it's good to have it back, man. It's good to be out and about, you know, rubbing elbows and having some beers.
Yeah, and can I just say something to all the listeners out there? If, like, one big judge of character is how does somebody treat their wait staff?
100%.
Like that, you can really learn a lot from somebody, like, based upon how they treat people that are serving them, right? And it's just like, why make that your safe place to discharge your negativity? Like, why do you do it at a place where we all know what the world's going through right now? Like, ever since 2020, like, lines are longer, wait times are longer. Like, it's
part of where we're at.
We should be more patient at this point in time. And yeah, restaurants were severely understaffed. Yeah. And so it's like, if people can't be patient with that, I don't know. I got a whole qualm with that whole, like, I'm gonna bitch at my wait staff.
Well, I get where you're coming from on that. And it's definitely applicable in certain situations.
Okay.
In View House's situation, it's not. We do incredible amounts of business.
Yeah.
A crazy amount of business.
It's packed all the time.
We have 69 servers. We have 15 bartenders. I mean, we employ a lot of people. And that's just at our location. We have 4 locations around the city. And, you know, each one of those bartenders or servers goes home on a daily basis with over $100. And, you know, if they're closing, if they're on a double, they're making $500, $600, $700.
Unreal.
And, you know, that's fruit of their labor. They work their asses off to get that kind of money. And the kind of shit that we see in that place, it's kind of second to none. It's wild in there. And they go through some interesting situations, but yeah, no, they make good money. They've got They've got it good, and I've seen a lot. So we've got people that have been there for 7 years, which is when
That's a long time.
Which is when Viewhouse Centennial started.
Oh wow, okay.
And they've raised families on the income that they make as servers. So it's like, it's a lucrative business if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, maybe learn from somebody. But
Sure. So what would you say, because you are in management, so what would you say are some of the key contributors to someone being successful in that type of role or position?
Leave your shit at home. So you're having a bad day. Throw that shit out. It's easier said than done. But, I mean, if I can do it, most people can do it.
Yeah.
You're having a rough day at home. The beginning of your day starts when you walk through the doors of that restaurant. And if somebody pisses you off through those first 30 seconds, 30 minutes of your shift, brush it off. Like you said, don't take things personally. Because at the end of the day, there's something facilitating that anger that's not you. And, like, even when, like, people personally attack me for something that I did or something that was in my control in a certain degree, I'm like, okay, why are you coming at me in such a harsh manner instead of coming at me in a mellow manner and letting me try and problem solve it? Because that's my job as a manager, is to problem solve and, you know,
and you need information in order to do that.
Exactly. And if, like, you know, I put somebody outside and it's fucking 100 degrees, I get that. But, you know, you're here from this time to this time. At this time, it's hot as balls. At this time, it starts cooling off. I need somebody for this other end of the time. But I can't judge, because Colorado's meteorologists, they can't even judge our weather. They can't predict that shit. And so how am I supposed to do it? And so from this frame to this frame, there could be a packed courtyard, too.
Yeah.
A packed outside. And so it's like, you know,
you got live bands in there and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
we have a live band tonight.
It's a busy spot.
We have a live band tonight. We have a live band tomorrow night. You know, we do crazy business. We see over, like, we've got 54,000 square feet of seatable space in that place.
That's huge.
Wait, how many square feet?
54,000.
54,000.
It's massive.
Wow, I imagine the rent.
We own the property.
Oh,
we
that's cool.
own the property. We own the property next door.
They actually built that from the ground up, then.
No. So,
okay. What was it before?
It was Trail Dust beforehand.
Okay, I don't think I ever
Trail
went
Dust
there.
was a, like, steakhouse for kids. They had a, like, tin slide that would go from the 3rd floor up all the way to the downstairs. They put you in, like, a used burlap.
Is that what that
potato sack.
DJ station used to be? The top of the slide?
No. So where that so when you go up that second level, and there's that little landing, and then there's a door to the left where, like, we have all of our soda bibs and everything now. Okay. That's where the top of the slide was. And if you walked
like the server stairs.
No. The regular stairs going up.
Okay.
But if you where was I going? If you would walk in to that place with a tie, they would cut it off.
No way.
And their sign was a tie that was striped, and in between the middle of the tie would be scissors. And so everyone, it was very well known.
I feel like I've heard about that gimmick now that you're mentioning it.
You don't wear a nice tie to this place, or else they're going to cut it.
Cut it off?
Yeah, you wear a Versace, you wear an Armani tie in there, and they're going to cut that $300-$400 tie without any fucks given.
Damn. Oh, no.
Yeah, they're like, oh, the Medusa head that's on the floor with the Greek key around it? We don't give a shit.
I wonder how many people walked in there and
I can tell you right now,
weren't reading the signs.
No, I took one of my dad's really nice ties there when I was a child, and he would, like, give us some of his, like, little prop ties that he would make sure that we're not nice, and I switched it out for a really nice tie, and we got in there and it got cut, and he saw it hit the ground. He goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And he looked at me with just, like, the death glare.
Damn it, son.
The death glare, and I was like, I was a menace when I was a child, so it was just another part of.
I would say you're still a menace.
Okay, I've calmed
and
down.
with the name Konstantine, I mean, that's a badass name. I gotta say, I love the name, and names are interesting because they do, like, shape us and help mold us as an individual. Like, if any of us were named something else other than we would probably be a little different, right?
Wasn't there a movie called that with what's his name?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, yeah.
He was like a vampire slayer.
Oh,
yeah.
Constantine. That's a great.
with a
That's
C.
technically Marvel.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Remember,
Like they're
yeah.
using the cat's eyes to they like have to put their feet in ice water and then stare into a cat's eyes, and that's how you enter into hell.
Holy
Like,
shit.
have you never seen it?
No.
Oh, bro, you gotta see this
everyone,
shit.
everyone asks me, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen it.
Well,
Just
because your name, of
but
course.
yeah, I'm
yeah.
just like, I don't want to fucking like.
You're like, I don't wanna
you
do it.
have to see it. Like I'm just like, yeah.
It's a cool Demon Slayer movie. It's
I've
cool, man.
I've heard from everybody
Yeah.
that brings it up, and I'm like, someday I need to watch it. But like,
It was a good flick.
Yeah,
I don't watch a lot of TV.
I don't either.
and that's
I don't
great.
do a lot of. I used to be big into video games. I used to love playing video games, and
I'll still do some of that.
I fuck around with COD.
Okay.
I used to fuck around with Apex. Fortnite was my shit when it was first Fortnite.
Okay.
And like there weren't like a whole bunch of tryhards fucking building massive ass fucking pyramids
Yeah.
in the skies. You're just like, all right, this guy's kamikazing me like I'm dead. But yeah, no. Call of Duty's chill, but video games were not like not a priority of mine
I was
anymore.
super into Halo, and Halo Combat Evolved when it first dropped on the original Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I was a major crusher in that game. Like I won the tournament for all of Parker, which is not that big, but still, when I was a little youngin', I was like, bro, I own Parker. No one in Parker could beat me in Halo, bro. And I was so confident about
I
that.
had a buddy like that when Call of Duty, what was it? The one that was after Cold War, or the third one. It
Modern
was
Warfare?
Modern Warfare. He was the third best player in the entire country.
Damn.
And he would sit, you know that map that had the fucking plane crash in the middle? He would sit across from the map and no-scope people with that deagle.
take 'em out.
Headshots. Headshot. One shot. You're just like, this guy's a fucking saint.
He was
This
just
dude had stick game.
It
Is
was
what we like to
it
call
was
it.
unreal. Hey, we've got different definitions for stick game. I got stick
There's
game.
no,
too.
there's multiple definitions for it. Is the thing.
I got one of them. I
yeah.
won't tell you which one, but I got one of them.
I can read between the lines. Kevin, I'm pretty sure you're picking that up.
Hey, stick game can mean a lot of things. What I'm gonna tell you is this: when it comes to video
Billiards
games,
is what you're talking about.
You're damn right. I'm really good with the cue.
we like get down some billiards.
I'm good with my wood.
Get,
Oh
get
my
that
gosh.
wood, get that wood hitter, send the cue ball down. The felt.
Hit the pocket.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Recently, video game wise, I've actually been playing. Like the only things I play on sports games. So pool's one of them. I get down on pure pool, fun game. Football, golf, like those are the kind of video games I like to play. Just one and dones. Just kind of mindless shit. And then racing. Racing, Art will tell you right now, that's my shit. I love racing. I'll get down any day of the week.
Yeah.
You said you were the Parker champ of Halo. I'll tell you this, I'm the fucking champ of racing.
Yeah, I mean, I only hold a little bit to you in Mario Kart.
What kind of car do you drive?
That's the only one, but no, Kevin's the racer of our peer group.
What kind of
for
car
sure.
do you drive?
I drive a Ford Focus.
Okay. What kind of Ford Focus? That's the question.
Yep, the SE. Just
All right,
kind of a base model Ford
I
Focus.
was gonna say, let's race.
I think
What
I'll
are you
lose.
whipping,
I seen you
then?
pull up in the BMW.
I drive an X3M.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my baby. I built that bitch. So
Yeah, look nice, man. I see you roll up in
thank
that.
you. Yeah,
I'll have
it's
to check
got
that out.
487 horse.
Oh wow.
And so I grew up with nice cars, but like also like really fast cars. And so I drive like a fucking maniac.
Do you?
You're the guy that gets so close that you see my fat sticker on the back of my
Oh,
on the
dude.
back of the whip.
I know what I like to do. This is like reckless. Like maybe I should come on my face after saying this one.
No, we can't slander a man. I believe you. I did have a back in the day a manual Subaru Legacy 2.5 turbo sedan. I fucking love that car. I kind of regret selling it. And that thing wasn't doing 480, but it was still like pushing, and I was burning through Pirellis and like having a good time with it, squealing.
Fuck yeah.
And there's something about like a manual transmission though, and
It's all of our own.
especially with like a turbo power behind
Yeah.
it, like
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Is yours
mine's-
manual?
No, but it has Tiptronic, so I can drop gears, pop it, and hit like fucking 6,000 RPM. It goes all the way to 9.
Okay.
It redlines at 7.5. So, but I'll drop gears, it'll hit 6,000 and you'll feel it. But I used to drive littler cars like sedans instead of an SUV, and I would pull up and I would hit gaps like right behind semis and it would scare the shit out of my passengers. And I-25 used to be, I mean,
Your playground?
Tijuana, Mexico. Tijuana, Mexico. I don't mean
No, the Autobahn. You were in another country.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, Germany. That's where I was. I was testing out my paper, going behind semis on the Autobahn. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm guessing you don't have to disclose, but mid-20s,
I'm
late
28.
20s, 28. Okay.
28. I was born in 1994.
Okay. Well, what's up, man? That's cool. Yeah, it's just interesting because I turned 35 recently, and it's interesting as we grow what we've experienced, you know, and what the lessons lead to, I guess. And everyone has a different path that they walk, obviously, but I feel like I don't have the need for speed like I used to. Like I mean, it's fun, don't get me wrong, like who doesn't love feeling some RPMs, but like I'm just like kind of taking it easy when I drive nowadays. But I'm also I get cheaper cars that like are not going to break the bank, and so that way, you know, I'd rather have like a nice place to live and clothes and shoes and shit.
Every once again, though, we get a wild hair. I mean, I remember a few months ago when you got your new Ford Escape, we were hauling ass, doing a little bit of...
We were doing 90. We were doing around 90, but that's nothing to you probably.
I wouldn't call it racing per se,
Yeah.
but we were definitely competitively trying to reach our destination first.
We were totally
Okay.
racing.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that, and I know a lot of people who have definitely slowed down when it comes to that. So as a kid, I have loved cars. Cars is like one of my fascinations. I'm obsessed with Lamborghinis. I'm obsessed with Koenigsegg's. I'm fast cars, expensive cars. I love it. And you know, I already have a house. I did very well in cryptocurrency for a while there, and
Congratulations.
thank you. I invested a shit ton of money when it was Litecoin and Ethereum were very, very low. Let's just go with that. And I invested every penny that I was making into it, and it turned out really nice for me. My parents, they live in a I guess a 6,000 square foot house. I was able to pay it off for them, and I was also able to buy my own place.
Wow.
And so they live rent free. I pay for their property taxes, everything like that, and then I've got my own place, completely paid off. I know getting a mortgage is like the ideal thing to do when it comes to, you know, a 30-year mortgage. I wanted something set in stone. Nobody can take that shit from me unless I'm like way behind on taxes, but that's not going to happen. I work for a reason, and it's to keep the assets that I have and continue to build an empire that I want. So
That's awesome.
It's definitely been a learning experience.
Now what's the empire? What's your empire?
I
What's that
want
vision?
to start. So the restaurant that I'm going to start, which is going to be a Greek restaurant, it's actually going to be right down the street off of Holly and Orchard.
Great location.
Yeah. It's where I don't know if you've been around for a while, but the old Dusty Boot was right there.
There's
a
King Supers
patio,
there. Yeah.
We're going to go into there, hopefully, as a Greek restaurant. And that's just to get me started on building capital towards, I want to get heavily invested into real estate. Commercial real estate.
Great investment.
Yeah.
My dad made his living off of, not commercial, but it starts with an R. I can't believe I'm forgetting. Residential. I was going to get it, I swear. But no, it's one of those things where it's like you can lose money if you don't do it right. But if you do it right, then generally there's always going to be an avenue for income off of that.
Oh, 100%. And property in Colorado is not going down. It's not going to go down. Houses will go down. But the property it sits on will always grow exponentially, too. And I strongly believe that Castle Rock and Colorado Springs will connect sooner or later.
Oh, yeah.
And the property in between that is going to fucking explode.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's going to be my next venture. I'm going to buy as much property, as many acres as I can over there. and like, I'm young. I'm 28. 38. I wait 10 years, and it like, if you look at the way that property has grown since like 1980 in Colorado, especially in like areas that are that have been developing, or being gentrified, they have exploded. And once, if you're following I-25 southbound past Castle Rock and you hit like Monument, you got Plum Creek and all of that, and it's inevitably gonna happen.
I mean, but the metropolitan basically is like Fort Collins to
100%
Pueblo.
Yeah,
like it's technically like all that, which is a massive amount of area.
Huge square miles.
And that's going to be the next venture for me. I'll put half of whatever I consider profit and like money that I can afford to throw to the side. I'll put half of it there, and half of it into, I want to get like a duplex, or like, a apartment complex, or a,
some income property.
Like a or an office building. Mm-hmm. It would be awesome. And like with the the oh my gosh, Jesus Christ,
just happened to me. I mean,
damn.
No, but it's interesting though, because you've shared a little bit about yourself, right? So, you were fortunate enough to invest at the right time. You made out well.
Are you still holding crypto?
Yeah.
Nope.
Got rid of all of it.
Nope. I dumped it.
Sold at the top.
I dumped it. I sold most of it at the top. So I still had a significant amount in Bitcoin. And then once Ukraine and Russia got into it, I was like, fuck this shit.
You're out.
Anytime war erupts, currency goes haywire. And even if it's crypto, it doesn't matter. And like, I mean, the U.S. has seen it multiple times. World War II, World War I. It's, so the second I heard that Putin was invading Ukraine, I was like, all right.
Got out.
The only thing I'll hold is gold.
Yeah.
No rhyming intended. But
yeah, the only thing I hold is gold.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gold standard, still a good hold, of course. I didn't sell just because I bought a little late into the crypto game. I think I bought my first Litecoin around 112, somewhere in there, and it rallied up to about 400. In 2021, I just kept holding, secured some gains here, and I swing trade a little bit, dollar cost average. And I'm still holding a pretty good spread between Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, and just kind of waiting it out. Because I do feel there's a future for this thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is still money to be made. Digital currency is obviously starting to be accepted in El Salvador. A lot of places are starting to roll it into, Fidelity and things of that nature. I'm going to hold it.
They have ATMs that have Bitcoin. They have everything. It's a good currency. It's good to have. My profit margin was so high with what I had. I mean, I got into Litecoin when it was $23.
Yeah. Killer.
I had.
What is it at now?
I have no idea.
Litecoin's trading about 50 to 75, if I had to guess.
But I sold it when it was about 300.
Oh. Yeah.
And I had like
a good amount.
I'm not gonna go into it, but it was enough for me to pay off my parents' house, who they live right down the street.
That's awesome.
It's terrific. A real nice house.
So I had more, and I love side conversations and diversions. Like, I'm all about that. But I was going to speak about your character, because there's something about that. Like, you were fortunate and you invested at the right time, but then you were selfless, helped your folks out. You still understand work ethic and maintaining what you came into, so you're working all the time. But then you also still have ambitions to do other things as well. So it's like, some people come into that kind of scenario or money or something like that, and then they're tempted to fall off the wagon and like start, overindulging in whatever their substance may be, or, spend it all on themselves, not give it to anybody else, and like be like, I can retire for life and never have to work again. Like, they lose some of their ethics. So I think that speaks to your character. I really do. And I think it's a good idea to try to get something in between, like go get some land, and even just to have some land like that, you could go out there, pitch a tent, or a getaway place.
Secure an asset.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, my parents they've gotten to the end of the world for me. I've done countless questionable things in my life, and you know, they've always been very understanding, and so I just felt like it was only right to pay them back. But I mean, there's time for overindulgence. I'm still very young. I still have my stupid years ahead of me. Like, I mean, if you make smart moves at the beginning of your career, you're able to live a very laxed life at the end of, like, when you're close to retiring, or you're able to retire a lot earlier. And that's, like, one of the things that I am really striving for, is because,
well,
like...
I think I know what you're talking about here. Like, you see the value in living now sort of thing, right? Like, because as we get older, like, I mean, how many people that are aging talk about, oh, I wish I'd have done this when I was younger, or this and that. And that's the thing, is, like, sometimes there's never a good time to do stuff, and you might always think that, oh, financially, even if you are kind of check to check, like, there's still a way to make it happen and live a little bit. And
100%.
I mean, is that kind of what you're talking about? Is, like, you know, you gotta enjoy life,
100%,
especially while you have your youth.
Like, let me tell you something. Like, I've gone buck wild as a kid. I have done a lot of drugs. I've had a lot of parties. I've done a lot of things sexually that, like, a lot of people would call questionable.
Okay.
And I've lived a fantastic life of a lot of new experiences. But you know, as I get older, I start mellowing out and realizing what's more important is that's the experiences and seeing new things, and that's really what I'm striving for, is being able to, you know, have the income to go wherever the fuck I want. You know, if I want to go to Dubai, I'm gonna go to fucking Dubai, and I'm not gonna live like a peasant in Dubai. I'm gonna live really nice in Dubai, or I'm going to go to Monaco and I'm gonna see the races, or I'm gonna go, and, like, I feel like that's a very high projection of what I feel like my life will be. But if you don't aim that high, how are you ever gonna fucking obtain it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you just said right there, if you got to set the bar high, right?
100%.
Because if you set the bar too low, then it's just complacency. It's just, I'm down complacent boulevard. No, I want to go to Dubai. I want to go to Monaco. I want to see the races, travel the world. You got to set the bar high because it's all obtainable, right? I mean, you set realistic expectations. Say, hey, this is what I want to do. You go do it.
Well, and you're preaching the right shit right now too, because we often talk about how complacency is, like, really a detriment, and how a challenge is where you seem to encounter life when you're challenging yourself. And so to have bigger ambitions and goals is something that isn't easy to achieve, right? So you have to challenge yourself in order to fulfill these bigger roles that you want to try to accomplish. And that's living. Like, you don't live when you're being dormant, or, you know, making excuses to why I can't. You know, you have to have those big... Yeah, so you're not out of line with that saying at all, man.
Well, what I want to say about that is, you and I think that way.
It's true.
How old are we? The new age workforce. I see it every day.
Yeah, I'm in experience with this. I'm curious about this.
I hire them. I see it all the time. The way that the new generation works, and, like, I'm part of the new generation, but I have a different background, so it makes me a little bit different than most people. The work ethic of younger people, and I'm talking 15 to 25, maybe 30, is fucking garbage. It is the most lazy, let me get whatever I can over my boss's head, instead of having like integrity in what they do. It is the most frustrating fucking thing I've ever seen, because I was instilled with a very strict set of work ethics. You take pride in what you do what you do in a quick manner so that you get done and you feel good about what you're doing. These motherfuckers do whatever they can to get around what they're supposed to do. Get one over their boss's head, you know, make the most amount of money in the least amount of time with the least amount of effort. And it's like, you guys are the most impersonal fucking group of people in the world. And I don't know if it has to do with growing up with technology and staring at a fucking screen all day, but it's definitely hurt our us as people.
You go, Kevin.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, I've griped on this for years and years and years. I started working when I was 14 years old. My parents said, if you want something, you got to go fucking earn it. You go work for it. You know, so I learned how to work young, and I'm very fortunate to have parents that pushed me to do that.
Me too.
You know, taught me the value of a dollar, taught me what it's like to get out of bed on a Saturday and go to work. Go fucking get it done.
Fucking
right?
A.
So we came from that generation, and we're fortunate to have that background of go get it done. Right?
We played outside.
Played outside. Yeah,
they don't.
exactly.
Do you see kids playing outside unless they're forced to?
Unless they're forced to, and even then, it's like they're still looking at their phone to do it.
100%.
Right? There's some outdoor activity that takes
Pokemon
place.
Go.
So, you know, when we really break it down and we
They
look
fuck
at,
with it.
you know, I think technology has a big thing to do with it. I think that, you know, we're fortunate to grow up in a time where maybe we didn't have as much of that shit. But now, you know, you look at it and you're right. These people don't want to work. They're lazy. They will actually work harder to not work than they would just to
They're
work.
scheming.
It's unreal.
It's more brain work than it takes to take a fucking order. And you're like, oh no, I'm sick. Let me forge a note. Let me get you a fake COVID result. And I mean, I'm guilty of that. Every once in a while.
Everyone has done that, but here's the thing: is fundamentally at the end of the day, like, you know when you're not giving it your all. Like, you know when you're not giving a fuck and you're just barely checking the boxes to get by. Like, you know when you're going to sleep. You know that even if you recognize it, even if you don't even recognize your own thought process, right? Because not everybody thinks about their thoughts. And I feel like that's super important. Everyone should take time to think about their thoughts. And when you're not checking, you're just checking boxes, doing the bare minimum, like, you're not going to feel satisfied.
You know when you're doing the bare minimum.
Everyone knows
You're
when
like,
they're doing
oh
that.
my god, like, I can't believe I'm getting away with this. Like, first of all, motherfucker, you're not getting away with this. Everyone else around you notices it.
Intuition is a real thing, and everyone knows what's going on. Like,
100%. I mean, like, so, candidly, I used to like to drink while I worked. Not at View House.
used to.
No, yeah.
We're glowing
long
now.
time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, a very long time ago. And I would sometimes leave my other closing managers to do a lot of the tasks. And, like, you know, I would do my tasks, but it'd be the bare minimum of my tasks. And, like, I knew what I was doing. And I definitely shaped the fuck up. Like, if you see me at View House, I'm sober.
Oh yeah, you're holding it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never seen you this loose, and you're pretty fun.
Oh, I mean, I'm okay. I had a few drinks before I got here, but I mean, I'm 3 beers and 2 whiskeys deep, and
Yeah,
I
we're
can
missing
drink.
the whiskey in here tonight.
I can drink
Yeah.
like a fish. But
Oh, yeah,
it's
Well,
not conducive
like we were
for
saying,
conversation.
You're a thick boy.
I am a thick boy.
Yeah, and you work out 7 days a motherfucking week. I mean, I've been trying to step back into it, but I'm like, I could tell you lift, but I like want to do swimming stuff for myself.
Swimming.
You know?
Aerobics is it's everything's heavier in water. So I have a pool in my backyard. I had a pool in my backyard when I was a kid, and we had some concrete work done around the exterior of the pool, and a big fucking chunk of concrete got dropped in the pool, and I was like, I can get that shit, no problem, because outside of the water, it'd weigh like 25 pounds, you know, no problem picking that shit up. In the water, it was like a fucking magnet was attached to the bottom of this bitch. I'm like, ugh, almost drowned getting this fucking thing out of here. So yeah, no, water is a good buffer for. It's not as hard on your joints.
When
It's
it targets all these little muscles that you never work out otherwise.
It takes a lot of pressure off. You know, like my
yeah.
mom went through major back surgery, and like pool therapy is really good for that.
Oh yeah,
you know, it takes a lot of
100%.
pressure off the
There's
joints.
There's
the
no
vertebrae.
gravity.
Right.
There's no gravity in water. I mean, there's slight, but it's nothing like being out of water, and so there's no tension on any of your joints or any of the vertebrae that are pushing up on a nerve or something like that. And that's why they do a lot of pool rehab.
Yeah. It takes like 80 to 85% of that
Yep.
pressure off of
Yep.
whatever is being
And
compressed.
that's like they have water and sensory deprivation chambers because of that exact reason. Is
Yeah.
because you feel like you're just middled.
I mean, I like to think that I'm flying sometimes. You know, especially like you take that deep breath, but like you do it in a body stroke and movement to where you're like exhaling as you're under, and then like there's just that, you know, brief moment, it's but seconds maybe, but in that moment you can kind of appreciate it, and you get this free feeling of like everything's muted. I'm literally like flying right now, and I love swimming. Like, I don't know if it's because I was born in March.
I'm like a high ass Michael Phelps right now.
Part Pisces. That shit did hit. Like, when we first started recording this, for a moment, like I did not drink beer. I was like, I need some fucking water right now, for sure.
I just had to mention that because Michael Phelps is a badass and he smokes weed.
Oh, he's incredible. I mean, probably one of the best Olympic swimmers of all time.
Do you need a beer?
Yeah.
All right. You need more beer?
I was going to grab one.
No, I'm good. I still got one backstacked here. But, yeah, it's all good stuff, man. You know, we live in a crazy time. You know, we really do. We talk about this a lot.
People shooting other people for no fucking reason.
Yeah, we got people shooting people. We got more health crisis. I mean, I don't know if you saw the White House just determined that monkeypox is now a national health security risk.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
My dad is one of those fear-mongering people where it's like any bit of news that comes out about a disease or something like that,
he just soaks it up.
And expels it too.
Yeah.
It's not just like, I'm gonna have this fear. It's like, I'm going to send this fear to everybody I know. Like, have you heard of the monkeypox? Like, it's not. And like the way that they described monkeypox initially was like when they described AIDS. It was like mostly homosexual males are going to spread that shit, and then they came out just like what they did when they did with the AIDS. It was like, but 1 out of 5 heterosexual males will catch that. You're just like,
I think the problem I have is just the inconsistencies with, like, here's the medical science behind it, right? Here's this case, here's that case. Because I heard the same thing. This is how it started. It can only be spread if it was through homosexual activity. Now all of a sudden they're saying if you're in close quarters with somebody, you can also extract it. But if you had the smallpox vaccine, you might not get it. It's like, I'm just at the point where I don't listen to any of it. I think it's all noise. I think it's all garbage. I think it's more fear mongering. I don't listen to any of it.
I feel like most of the news is fear mongering. But
sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That just it reminded me of an earlier conversation we were having about you not watching much TV, because Lord bless it, that is the best life. Mm-hmm. Being away from the black mirror, is a negative thing for the most part, because it ends up controlling people. Like, if you are good to like look at your phone for 30 minutes and you're maybe using it to promote your business or something productive or something that is fun for you to watch, like, take 30 minutes. There's nothing wrong with that. However, when you start spending hours and hours and you're stuck in front of the TV, you finish working on your computer all day, and then all of a sudden you're like watching shows all night and you're not experiencing life. So like, since this year started, I've tried to really remove the muscle memory of going to social media to fill the small voids of time in my day. And this last weekend, I just want to admit to this, because it's always good to admit to my faults, and because we all slip, we all fuck up. And like, I really overused social media over this weekend, just filling every void, looking at pointless shit that doesn't mean anything. And then come Monday night, like, I was feeling a little like depressed, or like a little. So I want to echo that point, because we're all susceptible to just getting lost in it, and maybe not moving around as much, because when we're in front of a black mirror, you're usually still. Like, and our bodies evolved, I do believe in evolution, they evolved as a nomadic people, so we're meant to move and walk and be on the world like that. Like, sitting still is. So I don't know, I wanted to echo that point.
No, I think you're right. So when you're depriving yourself of something, whether it be a drug, whether it be the sun, whether it be anything, and then you give yourself that, you get that spike of serotonin, you get that spike of endorphins where it makes you feel real fucking good. You're like, oh my god, this is great. And then the second you pull that away, 30 minutes later, you're like, fuck, I'm tired. Like, fuck. That's like why a lot of people watch TikToks as soon as they get off of work. They're like, oh, TikTok's 30 minutes, I'm gonna take it off. The second they take that off, they're like, oh my god, I'm sleepy. Like, I'm depressed a little bit. Like I need to go to bed, and it's all about the chemicals that are going on in your brain. It's you reward yourself with something after a long day's work. You're not allowing yourself to take anything off, so you've got the mental stressors of everything that's going on in your life, everything that's going on at work, everything that's going on in your personal agenda or personal life. And then the second you get off work, you're like, holy shit, like, what am I going to do? My choice is, like, normally alcohol. And then I'll go watch some TikToks, and I won't even fucking remember the TikToks.
I'm guilty of that, too.
So it's not like I'm worried about the TikToks producing that serotonin. It's usually alcohol.
Right.
Which is, like, kind of an addiction, but...
It's totally an addiction.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're all guilty of that.
I
Here
can go days without drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
And I have, because I'm really trying to work on my physique. But it's definitely like smoking a cigarette after eating. It's that muscle memory of relieving some sort of stress. And so the second you pull up your phone, it's like waking up in the morning. Like, so you wake up in the morning, check your phone, right? I wake up in the morning, I smoke a cigarette because I'm addicted to cigarettes. You're addicted to your phone.
Yeah.
I don't even look at my phone till I have my cigarette.
Yeah.
Which is two
But honestly, smoking the cigarette before looking at the phone, even though physically health-wise is not good for you, but mentally it's way more healthy.
Yeah.
And honestly, no, you don't know this, Konstantine, but I have made some major changes. I even leave my phone on a desk in here when I go to shit. I just go shit.
That is very
I'm not
heroic
trying,
of you.
Look,
Bro,
look, that's
fecal
me time.
matter on your phone has dropped. But guess what? Dude, you're bored time, you're just like counting the fucking holes in this. You're like, God damn, this sucks. No, I cannot shit without my phone.
Yes.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing.
And I knew that would draw the line in the sand for you as far as my commitment to this. Because when I do check my phone in the morning, it's strictly to check Microsoft Teams, what's going on with work. Is there something that I need to address immediately? Like, do I have time to go, shit, shower, and like get ready for the day, or is the day happening right now?
That's like taking a little hit of some weed before really taking a bong rip, because that's like, okay, I'm gonna take a little edible because you convince yourself it's necessary.
I do.
Wake up a little bit earlier so you don't have to check it.
You're right.
Yeah, no, and
you are,
and you feel so much better. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I try and distance myself an hour a day from my phone when I first wake up.
That's good.
And like today, I woke up real late, so that didn't fucking happen.
Well, I mean,
but unless I'm working out within an hour of me getting up, I set my phone down. I don't turn into the zombie that I know when I have my phone, because like when I do my laundry, I'm like folding I'm hanging up shirts, and I'm swiping fucking TikTok. I'm not even watching the videos. I'm just swiping to hear it. And I was like, this is bad. Yeah. This is real bad. Like, it's almost as bad as my cigarette addiction.
I mean, how many people did you describe there, though?
A lot. Oh,
yeah.
Almost a lot of teenagers, a lot of 20-year-olds, like.
Yeah, and even adults. I feel like full-grown humans
100%,
are subjected to this shit. And, I talk about it a lot on here as far as, when I put my phone down, like those times that I do it, whether it's right now during this recording, going out to get something to eat when we hang out at the View House, whatever, like allowing those.
You don't put your fucking phone down at the View House.
Oh, absolutely I do. Absolutely.
You guys want to see footage?
We do a lot of networking.
We do some networking for sure.
But your stickers are all over the place.
Hey, we stopped the ground campaign.
With you.
No, actually, I wanted to talk about this.
We'll get into that.
Oh, don't worry about it. Please don't.
Yeah, because we definitely network quite heavily. But anyway, the fact remains, like when you're out with friends or family or whatever, that's a good time to get away from the phone. The mornings, like you had mentioned, also a good opportunity to be away from it. Showering,
my gym time. My gym time is my sacred zone. I sent a text out to the 4 people that I know are gonna try and reach out to me. I'm at the fucking gym.
Yeah, shut it down.
And they know immediately.
Yeah.
And that's like, every person should have that. I don't care if you go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I'm eating right now. Hey, I'm on my break right now. Leave me the fuck alone.
Oh, yeah.
And people have a hard time being alone.
It's true.
And it's something that needs to be taught, or it needs to be learned, because it's not like it's not something that comes naturally because we're always
isolation
around
is a gift.
it's a gift and also a terribly terrifying thing to a lot of people.
It's true. Well, they've been almost coached and taught a little bit to be uncomfortable in those scenarios.
Of course,
because if they don't have that instant gratification and that text message notification coming in or the Snapchat bell dinging, oh, I must be lonely.
And I feel like it's a lot of people that are very pretentious that need people around them. Because they're like, oh my God, me? Like, fuck yeah. Talk about me. Like, hi, I'm right here. I'm like, yo, like, learn how to be by yourself.
Absolutely. I think
that's like a very hard thing to learn.
Very hard thing to learn.
But once you're okay with that, I feel like a lot of things open up for you. Yeah. Traveling alone is like one of the scariest things you can do, but it's one of the most freeing.
My favorite thing to do.
Things to do.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. It's a great feeling.
Yeah. It's literally one of the best experiences I ever had.
I went to Hawaii for 30 days.
By yourself?
By myself.
Incredible.
Met a whole bunch of locals. Beat the shit out of a whole bunch of people in the Navy with a whole bunch of Hawaiians. It was fucking crazy. It was a good time. Yeah,
bro, I wouldn't want, you got some big old hands, bro. I would not want to catch.
So
I would not want to catch
3/4 the size of a brick.
Yeah.
So
yeah, those are meaty. What, Greek? You're Greek?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the Mediterranean food obviously builds stout things.
No. The mix between the Greeks, Greeks have pretty good physiques throughout the years.
Greeks have good physiques.
Yeah, you damn.
You're rhyming a lot
They
tonight.
call me the Greek physique.
Whoa.
Hashtag Greek physique.
Easy.
But yeah, no, Greeks have good physiques, and my mom's from Texas. She's also part Indian, and I mean, they're also very athletic.
Badass.
And so
yeah.
I definitely got a very good gene pool that I came from.
Terrific.
And I didn't realize it when I was a kid, so I was fat for a while there, but I changed that.
So yeah, now you just replace the F with a PH.
Yeah,
yeah, fat. Pretty hot and tempting.
Look at that dump.
Oh wait, hold up. Let me switch that. Oh yeah,
there it is.
So yeah, I got a fat butt.
You got to work on that though, man. And women like a fat ass too.
Bitches, no.
The thick booty.
Females love a fat ass,
and maybe men too. I mean, depending on who's into what.
Look, I appreciated what I just saw.
A fat ass on a guy is admirable because I know he worked on that bitch.
Fair enough.
It's true.
Yeah. No. What was that movie? Just go with it. He's like, he was no buns Bobby. Now look at him. He's ripping tater chipping.
Yeah. No. Men with butts.
I have zero ass.
Thing. You have zero ass?
Yeah.
I'm going to take you to the gym. I'll show you how to get an ass.
My buddy Jamie would tell you that my spine connects to my legs.
Do you have a tail? Like in
I might.
You got a tail. How?
What a great movie that is.
Are you wagging it? Yeah, no. If you need help getting a butt, I got you, bud.
Yeah, I don't know if I need an ass, but if I do, I know who to call.
You want an ass. When bitches look back and say, "You looking back at that?" That's a good sign, and like that, they start drooling a little bit.
Who you gonna call? Konstantine.
Yeah.
I'm no Ghostbuster, but a bust.
He's a booty buster.
Oh man, yeah, I needed that good laugh, man. This shit is fun. Fucking. It's about consistency, right? Like trying to wake up, do the right thing.
Yep.
But I did like your creative solution there, which is an obvious one: is get up earlier, Arthur, so then you don't have to have that window. But and we're talking about work ethic of the youth and probably. I mean, people my age that are older than me, there's always been shitty
Everyone's
workers.
getting burnt out.
Yeah, and so it's like, I put this out on the gram the other day because I just wanted to be real, and it's like, not every day is going to be easy, and sometimes you have to make your day good, but just try your hardest every single day. And I'm echoing a point from earlier, like, everybody knows when they're not giving it their all, and then you also are going to look at yourself with less respect because you're not respecting yourself in the first place. So, it's just important. Like, you work out every single day. Like, I go for a walk every single day. It's like not a fad. It's not something that I'm doing currently. It's like my lifestyle, and so, like, what are you doing with your lifestyle? What's important to you?
What have you become? What has become a habit for you is really what it is. Because you can work out 6 months. You can fall off the next day. I've been working out for a year and a half consistently, but I've been working out since I was a teenager. But I've been working out consistently for a year and a half. At that year and a half, or that year and 2 months point, it just became habit. And if I didn't go, I'd feel sluggish. I'd feel like shit. I'd be like, because you don't get that serotonin spike, that just everything that makes you feel good. Because, like, regardless if you like it or not, working out and exerting yourself makes you feel good. That's why they call it a runner's high. Because you're going to get, like, some sort of gratification for making your body healthier. And I feel like that's evolution. Because, like, it used to be that way. Because, like, survival of the fittest isn't really a thing anymore. You got a fat fuck that lives till he's fucking 97, and then you got this taekwondo master that lived till he was 65 because he had a heart attack because he was sparring or some shit like that. But when you get rewarded for doing something that exerts you, I feel like that's got to say something for your body. Your body wants you to keep putting in that effort and going harder and harder and making you feel good every time you do it. And the second you stop feeling good about it, you got to go harder. And so I feel like that's just a way of your body weeding out the weak in you. And if you can't accept it, then you're just going to become a fat fuck and then end up diabetic or dying from something like heart disease or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay. I mean, my dad has heart disease. I'm not proud. I've been really trying to harp on him about working out and everything like that. And he's a stubborn old Greek man, so you can tell.
Is it the diet, though? Because I feel like working out has amazing benefits, but it's like, what are you putting into your body, too?
Well, yeah.
Like,
so
when I cut out snacking at nighttime, like, I immediately dropped, like, at least 5 pounds permanently.
That's just because your body was used to the caloric output that it was putting into the day. And then at the end of the day, you were storing all those calories for next day's burn, and then it never happened. But when it comes down to it, diet is 85% of your weight loss. You can build up muscle mass, and lean muscle mass will burn calories throughout your day. I'm sitting here, and with my muscle, the mass that I have in muscular, like, just in muscles, compared to, like, one of you guys, is, like, I'm burning more calories just because my muscles are actually, like, they're just sitting here, but they're still burning it. And so it's, like, you have the exponential burn of your muscles being there. So, working out it gets the job done, but you really have to, like, you have to back it up with a good diet, or else you're not going to see anything. Like, you're going to eat more because you're more hungry because you're working out, but then it's just going to continue into that muscle burning, caloric, like, deficit that you had prior. So you're just going to fill it back up. And so, being miserable and dieting is just part of getting healthy.
In life,
Being miserable and dieting.
Yeah, no, dieting is miserable.
Yeah.
And if anyone has been on a diet for more than 3-4 months, it is fucking miserable. So if do it for one day. This is, like, my challenge to people that are like, oh, diets aren't miserable. Do it for one day. Cut out 95% of your carbs. Tell me how you feel at the end of your day.
So we got a weekly challenge, because we usually throw out a challenge of the week. So you got this one.
Oh, you don't want to fucking do that. I'm telling you right now. You guys are going to be
for one day. See, I haven't been through that valley of death, obviously.
It'll probably take 2 days.
Okay.
But
don't you dare bite your glasses at me.
You are going to be so fucking tired. So, carbohydrates are your immediate source of
95% of the carbs.
You cut out
That's like almost everything I eat.
Yeah, of course. So which means you probably still have a significant amount of carbs, but you cut out 95% of your carbs. Do you know how fucking tired you get? And so fats are like obviously your secondary source of energy. That's when you start burning fat content in your body, and that's why people tell you to cut out carbs when you're trying to lose weight. It's not like the perfect thing because you run on a fucking treadmill for 45 minutes and you have no carbs. You're completely depleted and you just want to die the next day. So getting carbs in right before your workout, the perfect amount of carbs, which allows you to get that energy boost, but then you can start burning fat and then you replenish it with a tiny bit of carbohydrates that are good for you, like fruit. That's what makes your energy level. But if you drop, like bodybuilders, if you drop 95% of your carbohydrates for 2 days, you are going to walk around like a zombie. It is miserable.
I believe it.
It's foul.
I love the smile that you're getting though, because it's like you've been through this.
I have, and it's like walking around with, you know how back in the day they used to make prisoners in striped shirts wear that ball and chain around their ankles. It's like having 2 balls and chains around both your ankles.
You just feel so heavy and depleted at the same time.
Yeah, everything's heavy. Your shoulders are heavy. Your head's heavy. Your legs are heavy. It's a miserable situation.
You know, you got to suffer in life a little bit. Like this, like life is trying to kill us the second that we're born. And so like we talked about it earlier, but the whole, all complacency stuff, like I could go on a long rant here. Okay, so instead of going on an Arthur rant, I got a question for you. And this is a question we like to ask. We like to ask every single guest this, but if you could give a piece of advice to humanity so everyone would be better tomorrow, what would that piece of advice be?
Stop being so fucking selfish. The greed of everybody in this world causes health crises, food crises, financial crises. We could all be a little bit better off. The entire world would be a little bit better off if we took a little bit off of what we desire. And you know, like I have like very high top tier like dreams for me. But, you know, instead of getting the top tier Lamborghini, you know, go down, get something a little bit more reasonable and help some people out along my way. It's like one of the things that's like the most rewarding you could do, because the smile on a person's face that genuinely needs help and you provide that aid to them is priceless. It's a rough feeling to not like show emotion about, because the second you render aid to anybody that needs it, it's like you watch the chip rise off their shoulder, and it almost literally, like you can see their shoulders roll back, a smile develop, their eyebrows don't frown. It's an interesting feeling watching somebody's stress completely rise off their backs. And like I've only done it a few times. I used to give out hot chocolate and sleeping bags and everything at Civic Center Park during Christmas. On Christmas Day, I would spend the day with homeless people instead of my family and hand out hot chocolate, sleeping bags, anything that people would donate.
That they would need that on those cold nights.
Yeah. And watching the face of just relaxation after just like worrying, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? It's very rewarding, and a lot of people need to learn that. It's a lot of people see people that are asking for help, and this goes back to not just political party, but people that ask for help. A lot of them are very genuine people that are asking for help. And, you know, welfare is a big hot topic when it comes to politics. But I have personally ran a restaurant where I know people that took welfare and really fucking needed it. And it's a fucking tragic thing to see. And if you ever sent somebody that was, like, real against welfare or anything like that, to see that I guarantee would change their mind. And so, you know, give opportunities where you can. And it's not going to break you, but it's still not going to, like, you don't need to film that shit. You don't need to do anything that, like, makes you a fucking hero. But still, do what you can to make every place you go a better place than where you left it. Or where you came to it as. So.
Well said.
Solid advice for sure. I mean, I think when you really break it down, going back to the selfless piece, you know, I think people are fucking selfish, man. And, you know, if we could just do a little bit of good for the community, for the people around you, get involved a little bit, you know, maybe give back where you can, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. And a lot of people, you know, kind of overlook that and go, well, I'm just in my little bubble here, and, you know, things are going good for me and my family. I'm not really concerned about these other guys. And, you know, to each their own, of course. But I think at the end of the day, just doing a little bit of good, whether that's just listening to somebody, whether that's giving back to the community, I think that can go a long way.
It also feels good.
It does.
Like, you know, you do something for somebody that maybe you didn't even pay for it. You did something to, like, help. You helped somebody cross the street. You picked somebody's groceries up that dropped it. That feels good. And there's a reason that feels good. It's because that's what's meant to be done. And if you don't do it, you're like kind of question yourself after walking away from a grandma that dropped her groceries.
I had a moment like this, actually. I was on one of my walks, and this gal was carrying her stuff, and I had headphones in. There's a lot of people around, and honestly, I pussed out, and I should have, and I regret it to this day. This was months ago, and she like bailed her whole box of groceries, and I could have so easily like helped her pick it up and easily carried it, and I didn't. And you're so right, man, because that has echoed in my mind, and even just you talking about it reminded me of when I didn't do that, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, why didn't I man up?
It's funny, as humans, certain things fester in our brains.
Yeah.
That's our conscience, obviously.
Next person I see drop food and bail a box, I'm fucking there for them.
Yeah, you're fucking in.
I'm there for them.
I'll tell you one time you shouldn't have been there for them.
Okay.
So, at View House, we had this guy walking through our foyer area, and some guy shut the door behind him instead of holding the door open for some guy. And he threw his fucking food on the floor. He goes, "You got a fucking problem?" And the guy pulls out, so the other guy that didn't ask that question pulls out a fucking box cutter.
Box cutter, huh?
Box cutter.
Okay.
And like a completely out of control situation occurs. Cops come, everything like that. But when you said food on the floor, I was like, there's the situation right there. But yeah, no, everything has a situation that occurs, and View House has definitely changed my perspective on almost anything.
Probably giving you a different respect on things as well. You know,
Different respect or different outlook.
Perspective, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a different perspective on most things. You know, females punching cops. Yeah, I never thought I would ever see that, and I've seen it. Just whole plethora of different things that have happened.
Some chaos.
Oh,
but through the chaos, you come correct with some really solid advice, and you know, giving your time, which on Christmas most people are selfish and want to be at home with their families. You know, you're out there helping, and like I like how you elaborated on, you know, I'm not posting this shit, like I'm just doing it out of the good of humanity. Like, fuck the clout. Like, fuck clout. Like, and so like that's all really solid advice, because that's the thing is, like, if you can be more selfless, and you bringing that up like echoed that memory of me not helping when I had an opportunity, and you know, that's what's important, because, you know, in this episode we did talk about, like, you know, being consistent, fuck the black mirror, get away, keep moving, you know, like, get your shit straight, and like suffering, like the dieting and suffering, like life is suffering, like you have to suffer to get to success, and like normalizing this shit. I knew you would be a good guest, because like we get people on based on energy, and we kept going there, you know, and you just had this great energy about you, bro, and like I could sense it, and I was like, this man has some shit to say to the world.
well, yeah. I mean, so you were talking about so the struggles that you have to endure to feel good about life. And I mean, failures are a part of that. You know, I had a restaurant. We were there for 30 years, and we sold it, and COVID took us over. And it takes a lot of heartache to learn the kind of wisdom that you can bestow upon people. And I mean, you guys both have that kind of heartache in you, because I mean, why else would you be talking for a living if you didn't have something to say?
It's true.
And you know, it takes a specific type of person to open up and really be able to teach people about certain things in life. And I'm not saying I'm one of those people, because I've taken an interesting approach on life, but it definitely takes heartache to understand what your purpose is in life. Everyone's purpose in life is a little bit different, but unless you've been through hard times, your opinion's kind of null to me. And it's kind of condescending when I say it, but I believe it.
I mean, it makes sense too, though. It does make sense, because until you've lived, right, how are you going to preach, teach, things of those nature, right? You have to go through the hard times to get to the good times, like you said. Failure equals success, all those things. I think those are all good points to piggyback off of, because I think that's what really, you know, solidifies and kind of, you know, amplifies the individual and what they're preaching, talking about, you know. But that's what's great about talking to everybody, right? And rubbing 100%. Shoulders with, I mean, you know, in this
trust me, I know.
You've seen it all.
3,000-4,000 people a day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and we're fortunate.
What was that person's name?
Yeah. I mean, that's just part of the business. We both worked in sales. We've rubbed shoulders with people, live action, and now we get to sit down and have conversations. But I think to echo your point, yeah, it definitely carries some more weight when folks have lived a little bit and have actually experienced some things that maybe can actually impact the world.
Their opinion matters a little bit more to me.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're a 23-year-old that grew up in Cherry Creek and, you know, your daddy drives a Ferrari, I'm like, not too worried about your life opinion, because you've had it pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that, man. Everybody's going to struggle, though, in their own way, though, as well. And, you know, that's, you know, but we talk about being selfless. We're talking about, you know, the value of struggle. And it is important, because we all have to do things that we don't want to do in order to get to where we want to be. And until you really digest that sentence and fully understand and live that, I'm going to do things that make me uncomfortable to get to the position I want to be in. Like, there's validity within cementing yourself within that foundation thought. And, you know, with that comes a responsibility to share your experiences. And that's one thing that I felt called me with this podcast, was my opiate addiction that the listeners know, but I was on it for 12 years. Once I realized that, it took me 5 years to get off. I'm almost at 24 months. I'm never taking that shit again. Like, I turned the corner, but like, I like to share that story, because that was a long time. Like, 5 years is longer than we were in high school for. And so it's true. Like, you have to go through brimstone and get tested in life. Like, and if you're not testing yourself, if you're not sticking your neck out there and risking some shit, then I dare you to live. Because people who are being complacent and not doing shit with their time and not risking it and making themselves nervous, can I accomplish that? Fuck it, I'm going to try. You know, that's where life is. That's where you live.
Challenges create character. Challenges really do create character. And it really, so, I mean, IQ is obviously problem solving. The more challenges you are handed in life, the higher your IQ is going to be, because the quicker you are thinking of solutions. So that's why they see a lot of people in impoverished areas with high IQs, because they've dealt with so much shit in such a small amount of time, and they've had to think on their toes. And that's just how life is. And, you know, it's not life and death for a lot of us, but it is for some people. And you know, that's not where I've ever been. But
we're blessed for that.
I'm very
fortunate.
I'm very thankful for that. But it definitely builds character when you go through the trenches of trenches. And like I've been through trenches. I haven't been through back alley trenches and just like very terrible situations. But I've seen a lot in my life, and at 28, I've seen a lot more than what you would expect from somebody that grew up in this area at 28 years old. And so, yeah, no, I've seen myself grow character, and I've definitely seen other people grow character through their like turmoil in their life, and definitely seeing a lot of adverse things happen.
It's true.
Everyone's got a story to tell, and everyone's walked a path, and seen different things for sure. And, it looks different for everybody, right? Depending on their age, where they've been, where they grew up, who their family is. Everyone's got a story to tell for sure. I'm fortunate to grow up in the countryside. I moved out to Denver about 15 years ago, met some great people, had some great experiences out here, and just really fortunate to be riding this wave, and that's kind of my story. And man, it's just every day's a new opportunity. You never know who you're going to meet, new experiences, memories, moments, opportunities. It's fantastic, and we got to make the best of it. We can continue to focus on the negatives, or we can look at the positives.
100%.
And that's a choice that everybody has to make every day.
It's true. And Konstantine, now that you've been in here, man, like all of our guests, because we open up on here, like this is a real conversation that we have in here. And
Yeah, we're not bullshitting. There's no script in front of me.
It's kind of a lost art, like what we do here, and so.
Right.
Like, we get to bond with people over this table for an hour and a half a week, and we're thankful for that, and we're thankful for your time as well.
Easy.
And so you're in the. I was getting so excited what I'm saying.
I can see that.
And,
Elated.
My body language, the limbic brain is like, ah. But no, you're in our wheelhouse now, man. And so we're gonna get you back on. We like to do repeat guests within the next year, see how you've been doing, progressing. And just check in, and we got each other's cell phones, so we're gonna be in the loop. And you already know we're gonna be regulars.
You guys want.
We're regulars where you're at, so we're gonna be in there again.
We like to spend some time down there.
Just no snippets of me at after hours, all right?
Yeah, and one thing I needed to touch on at one point was, so we have a heavy ground campaign here at Discussion Combustion, and it's a sticker ground campaign, and unfortunately, the business where you work was within that range. And since then...
You got blasted.
They fucked up my bathrooms, guys.
Since then... We have adhered to
a whole bunch of stickers all over it. No, I'm just kidding. No, they've been doing a great job.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know what their podcast was.
It was hilarious.
But when they invited me on the podcast, I was like, "Oh, is it Discussion Combustion?" And they were like, "How did you?" I was like, "Oh, I've just removed 20 of your fucking stickers." No, but it's been good. No, I don't blame you guys for trying to promote.
I love how you first approached us, because it was like in a loving manner. Like earlier, you talked about how some people just approach people in a bitchy mood.
Right. Yeah.
But the way you approached us was like, guys.
You can't do this.
Can you stop, please? Like,
it's like,
please.
I love you guys, but like, come on.
You got to tighten
up. I
up.
have to tear those down.
We're like, all right.
Yeah. And I've only seen one since, but it wasn't you guys.
Somebody else put it up.
One of my servers. I was like, solid. You motherfucker.
Solid. Yeah. We go hard on the
We still hand them out. Campaign. So what they do with that, Konstantine, we can't
Hey,
determine.
Listen. I'm not here to enforce. I'm not a fucking security guard when it comes to stickers. But
you still got a job to do. I get it.
I'll let somebody else do it. I don't give a shit. I'm here now.
It's just funny. We had to echo that point.
Yeah, because it just it brings the circle, the story full circle.
Yeah, no. I met these guys at the place of my work. It was a very funny exchange initially. I wasn't drunk.
No, man, you were sharp as a tack.
Sharp as a tack.
Fresh out the box.
Yeah, they got hammered down. Anyways, these guys were great. And they definitely couldn't have gotten me to come on here if they weren't great talkers. And so I've definitely had a great time here.
Hell yeah, man.
Appreciate that.
It's been very enjoyable.
Well, shit, let's cheers on that, bro.
Let's cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, salute.
Thanks for spending some time with us, bro. Like we said, we like to do repeat guests. Let's get you back on the program. You'll be seeing a lot of us, obviously, at your place of work. We like to come down there and hang out. And yeah, man, this is a good conversation.
I'm there all the time. Anyone else wants to come see me?
Yeah, come down for a visit. Come have a beer with us, man. We usually hang down.
Write me a good review.
Write them a good review.
Actually, I haven't done that yet, so I'll do that. I got your back, bro.
Word.
And for all the listeners, you know, thanks for tuning in. Konstantine, I appreciate you opening up and, you know, exposing some of yourself, because being vulnerable is important, and it builds strength to be vulnerable. So
100%.
so when you're being vulnerable, you know that you are being good to yourself, because
You absolutely deserve it.
Health is wealth.